Hello, everyone. Are you ready for Kabbalah 2? We are very excited. I'm very happy to have you here. I wanted to take a few minutes just to introduce myself. Many of you already know me, but there's a couple of people new in person and also online. So my name is Elidet. I am the student coordinator at the center. And for this course, I'm going to be the one who is sending you the emails. So if you're missing something, the emails will have the recording of the classes and the handouts. So if you are missing something or anything, you can please reach out to me, or if you have any feedback or situation during the course, just let me know, okay? So each one of you is going to be assigned to a mentor like we had in Kabbalah 1 for the new people. And right now we are going to stay in the tables. Each table has a mentor. This table has Diana. Can you raise your hand, please? This table has Emmy. This table hasn't arrived yet. Sorry, will be Melissa. And this is Jeffrey. Online, there's going to be Henry and Anissa. Anissa won't be tonight, but Henry will be joining you. So we invite all of you to stay after the class and have a workshop with your students, with your teammates, with your mentor to discuss about the insight you're taking from tonight and also to share your experiences, okay? Also, Kabbalah 2, it's also very important for your Kabbalah journey. It's the time to, if you would like to meet with a teacher. In this case, you can meet with David, or also you can meet with Tamar, who is the other teacher. So if someone is interested, maybe during this class or maybe during the entire course, if you would like to have a meeting with one of the teachers, just talk to your mentors and they will guide you through that, okay? And the last thing that I would like to mention, as you know, we are an in-person class and also online. So if the in-person people would like to say something or ask questions, please raise your hands. If you want to get out of your comfort zone, you can come to the mic. If not, just wait for me and I will come with a mic, okay? And also for the online, if you have questions, please write them in the chat. And if there's chance, we can unmute you, but we will let you know. So we welcome David and let's start this Kabbalah 2. Thank you.
Hello. You. So, great to have everyone here. Some new faces, some old faces, and some continuous faces. Hi, everyone online. I'm very excited to start this course with you guys. We're preparing beautiful sessions for you, updated, upgraded. We try to squeeze as much as consciousness as possible. Because it's a kind of a crash course, yeah? And so we all want you to pass the test of life. I think it's a little bit Lidet. So, beautiful. Today, do you think it's a bit
You?
Yes. Okay. Beautiful. So we're going to start today with what we call proactive confrontation. And if it's too much in our face, let's say proactive conversation. Yeah. Because for some of us, it's very hard to confront, especially depends on which astrological prototype we belong to. The fire types always looking for a fight. The water sign will always run away and hide. And the air, they like to talk a lot, but not necessarily to fight about anything, but they like to communicate. And the earth sign are kind of mute. So this is like in a nutshell. But the idea of communication and why communication is so important. We are the only species in the entire universe that can verbalize things, that have language. Yeah, the animals have ways to communicate. The whales, like they're doing their sonar sound and they can be heard for hundreds of kilometers. Yeah, there are different ways. And some of those animal creatures, they are so aligned and in tuned with the cosmic that they have a telepathic kind of connection between them. We know that. But we are the only creatures that we be giving languages. Yeah? And according to the hierarchy in creation, so there are four main creations. Yeah. So there is the inanimate. It's the minerals, it's things that are seems to be very static, but we know very closely that nothing is static in this world. Everything is constantly vibrating in motion, but they're considered to be more quiet. You have to really put things into a microscope in order to see its movement. And then there is the vegetation, yeah, vegetable world, where things are growing. They're a bit more upgraded, but they cannot relocate themselves usually. The dandelion has a way to relocate himself. You know the dandelion? It's famous here in Toronto. So he find a way. In Israel, you call it the grandfather flower because it looks like a white beard. So when you blow it, the wind blow it, and it's like spread out. Yeah. But usually plants don't relocate themselves. And then we have animals. Yeah. What the animals do, they work according to instincts. They predate some of their predators, but they have more movement, and you can consider that they have more free will. Yes? And there comes the most significant species of the world. And according to Kabbalah, the name that it was giving thousands of years ago, it's called the speaker, not the human. According to Kabbalah, they name us the speaker. המדבר, עולם המדבר. It's interesting, you probably never heard about it. So this is our definition. It means that we receive the ability of communication, of speaking out, of verbalizing things, of articulating things for a reason. There is a specific reason, and that's the highest. We consider to be the highest of all the entire creation below us. We are the most elevated. Now, we understand that we also have the animalistic kind of thing within us, yeah? And, you know, the people that tend to be more kind of predators, more like into the flesh, they're less spoken. It means that they are more hard worker, but less using the mouth, isn't it? So there are many levels in between, even within the humans. There are people that speaks, that use their ways of speaking a lot, and there are people that try to find a job. I don't want to speak to anyone. I will do a job which is isolated. I'm afraid of communication. Okay? Is that making sense, what we're saying so far? It's interesting introductory to understand why communication is so important. Because we know when we talk about the tikkun, and the tikkun that we have is within one another. It's the main tikkun, it's the social tikkun. And the social tikkun can be only done through communications, through conversation, through confrontations, and it's never comfortable. It's never comfortable. And we are in the age that we try to limit the way we communicate with the world. You know what I mean? How we filter our communication with the help of technology. Anyone knows? Yes, texting, for example. Texting. What do you do more, texting or calling these days? Texting, yes. What do you do? More personal meetings or Zoom meetings? Yeah? What do you do more? Staying at home or going to parties outside? You see what's happened? Something is a bit twisted there. So we hide behind those screens, filters that we built for ourselves called technology. Of course, there are many good things about technology. It's amazing. But when we use our fears to hide behind them, that's it. We are limiting our capacity to do our tikkun in this world, to make the impact that we're supposed to do in this world. Okay? So now I want us to journal. And I want you to write down. It's very important because each and every one of us have a relationship that went sour in such a way that it's hard for us to really make peace with it, to confront it, to say, to be truthful in it, okay? So, but I want you to imagine that you have zero fears, no fears, okay? Imagine yourself, there are no fears. What would be the proactive conversation? And who would you have it with? Who do you need to have this proactive conversation with, okay? In which relationship, in what level? So try to bring a huge conflict that you have in a relationship in your life, and we take that and we build upon it, and we give you all the principles around that. Today I'm going to tap into a few principles and a few terms, Kabbalistic terms, that are going to help us to learn to communicate better, especially in those hard relationships. Yeah? So please write down. Write down what is this conversation in one of your relationships that you would do if you have no fears whatsoever. Father, mother, ex-boyfriend, boss, mother-in-law. Once mother-in-law was funny, but nobody's married now, so it became different. Try to use your imaginations, no fear. What would you say in that relationship? How are you going to express yourself? Zero fears, nothing. How would you behave when you meet them? So for us, it's all about the next level. Each and every one of us chose to come to this course because deep inside we're seeking the next level. But between us and the next level, there is some kind of a space, there is some kind of a block. And that block, sometimes we are totally not aware what the block is. It's very hard because it could be that this block been there and we got used to it, we addicted to it, it's becoming part of us. It's so attached to us that we don't see that it's a block. Yeah. So through those broken relationships, we can understand really what's the block. And through those relationships with people, we will understand deeper what is our relationship with the divine, with the creator. Because we don't see the creator, do we? We don't see him. I mean, tangibly. You can imagine, you can communicate in many ways that we teach. Last class, we taught you guys how to communicate with the creator. But it's not something that is tangible. So the creator created our fellow man, so he will deliver different messages through different relationship to us. So the way I handle my relationship, how open I am, how truthful I am, how fearful I am, how controlling am I, how much I control myself when someone triggers me and I'm not hearing the right way. How am I good in time of pressure when I put down to the wall? That's how I can understand the relationship with me and the Creator. Because if I trust the Creator, that's the ultimate. First, I'm going to be fearless, as we said. Second, I will know that everything that happens from the Creator for my own good and benefit. This is the ultimate. We are training together, yeah? So in relationship, the way we communicate or lacking the communication, that will determine how much light we reveal. So the question is that the reason why we are not able to say what we really would like to say, to express our feelings, sometimes even to be vulnerable, it's because it's involved pain. Pain is a very good indicator for us to understand that there is a block. Every time I'm experiencing physical pain, mental pain, emotional pain, it tells me, it's an alarm for me to say there is a block here of energy. And that's block of energy need to be released. So should we embrace the pain or no? Should we welcome it? Absolutely. Do we hate the pain? Yes. Nobody wants to be in pain. Are we in pain all the time? Yes. Yes. Inflammation constantly attack the body. Especially when you grow older, you kind of like fighting against inflammation. This is one of the fights. And there are many acts and many tricks to do that. But it seems to be that there is also spiritual inflammation. When things are getting into too much, it's becoming very painful. Very, very painful. So what is our tendency? Our tendency is to avoid pain as much as possible and to seek for comfort. Yeah? And we're seeking for comfort, but the seeking for comfort usually it requires more passiveness. What is comfort usually? Sit down, lay down, relax. Not too much stress, not too many tasks to do, yeah? Not too many people to deal with, yeah? So we do that. We find ways to hack the system, to cut corners, to bypass things that we don't like. We are very good in that. We are very smart as humans. But the question is, do you really feel comfort? When you are possessed and seeking for this comfort, are you comfortable? Yes or no? No. Why? What happens? You avoided the painful things. So why it's still uncomfortable? Why?
You haven't done anything. You haven't achieved anything.
Problem remains.
Hmm?
Problem remains.
The problem remains. Beautiful. Yeah, exactly. The problem remains because the idea is that we are here to solve problems. We are here to do tikkunim. Tikkunim means corrections. Corrections means something is wrong, I'm correcting it. So there is no such a thing, comfort. It's an illusion that the opponent tried to make us as less passive, as much passive as possible, by not confronting the things, convincing us that if I leave it alone, maybe it's going to resolve by itself. Yeah? So the only way is really to confront, but it's required to go through the pain. It's required to go through the pain, Just before the class, I had some pain. Said, I have no idea how I'm going to do this class. This, don't worry, it's up in every class. It's Mr. Opponent comes to you and starts drilling in your mind, said, nah, you cannot do this class. So I prepared and this and that. But that's how it is. You feel like that from every important meeting, every crucial event in your life. Suddenly the doubts crept in and convince you that it's gonna go bad. It's true or not? So I could have just run away and leave you here, and maybe Elidet will say a few words. But I had to confront that. Yeah, I had to. So thanks, my Mary, that I have endless opportunities to do those things. And it's amazing because it's giving you so much power. Our power as teachers is that we have to constantly face our fears, okay? And this is something that when you grow a little bit to leadership in the center, you see that you're going to get also opportunities as such, because we want everyone to accelerate and experiencing facing those fears. So the idea is that we have to face the pain. Now, what's those painful things represent? What is it that could be so painful, for example, in relationships, that it's hard to create a peaceful conversation, a safe conversation? What are we afraid of? Tell me. Huh? Betrayal. Good. Judgment. Being judged. Rejection. Great. What else? Many. Okay, hurting others. Okay. You?
Not getting what we want.
Ah, nice. So we have expectations and we might not gonna get to what we want to receive, the agenda, Yes. What else? From the other side towards us. Okay, good. Aggression, facing aggression, resistance. Explain how.
Control.
Yeah.
Oh, and I'm only gonna
Sure.
agree with you if you this. Like a condition. A condition, yeah. Condition.
So maybe this relationship is too costly, like meaning that I have to let go of so many things in order to have this relationship. So I think I'm going to lose in that relationship. Okay. Okay. What else? Being insecure, feeling the insecurity. Maybe we not be capable. Okay, that's good. So what are the 3 steps to proactive confrontation conversation? So first, what we want to do is close the space within us, within you. Close the space between you and others. What does it mean, close the space between you? It means that there is no differentiation between what I want to be to what I am, what I'm expressing. Because this suppression of not me expressing my needs, my emotional needs, my creativity, I have to find ways to close up this gap. Because none of us are fully where we want to be, where we wish for ourselves to be. Yeah. Now, closing between space between you and others. Okay, so the space in that relationship usually creates separation. Space allows a lot of imagination of what I think about the others, what he think about me. speculation, a lot of speculation when there is space. And our imagination can fly, especially in the month of Scorpio. We think everyone conspire after us and try to destroy us, and we see the most negative scenario ever that could happen. That's what space allows. But when you see the person in front of you, you communicate with him, you feel him, there is more security. Yes? The other person has the desire to listen or be open. So we need to find ways also to allow also the other person to be safe, not to vent just our needs. It's like the best way to come to a conversation is what we call face-to-face. You cannot patronize. You cannot come from I'm right. You cannot come I'm smarter. Yeah? You have to understand we're two souls in this journey of life, and we have something here that need to be healed together. So there is a very famous verse that coming from the Zohar, and it says, I will read you the Aramaic, the Hebrew. לא תשנא את אחיך בלבביך, הוכח תוכיח את עמיתך בגומר. So it says, you shall not hate your brother in your heart. You should certainly rebuke your neighbor. So there is no differentiation between confrontation, or there is a big differentiation between hating someone to rebuking someone, to confronting someone. Yeah? Or to prove someone when he did something to you. So there is no place for hatred. Why? Because hatred is the worst separation two people can have. Yeah? It means that I'm not seeing your right to live. I'm not acknowledging your soul in you. That's what hate is. And unfortunately, there is so much hate in the world, yeah? But because we don't acknowledge that others have the rights to live, others has the right to express themselves, others have their soul. But on the other hand, certainly I have to confront, I have to prove someone if he did something to me. It means arguments are healthy, yeah? So what comes from all of that? We're here to get deeper into the tikkun, yeah? So the pain will emphasize, we said the pain is there for a reason, to tell us there is an energy that it's been clogged that we need to release. Yeah. So how we release it? By understanding what type of tikkun do I have around that. Okay, so I give you some examples, and you can already try to allocate some of them and put them into this relationship that you have issue with. So when we're talking about the tikkun, and what causing me the pain is as a result of having this one of those tikkuns or a few of those. So I'm the right one, the tikkun, it's happening to us all the time. I feel I'm right, I have the proofs, I collected all the data, I figured it out, I'm right. But this statement, I'm right, never gonna lead us to anywhere. It's never, because imagine yourself, your other friend exactly think he's right and he already proved it to himself and he's convinced. So how can you bridge how can you bridge two people like that? Everyone thinks he's right and there is no way. So the I am right tikkun, that's always pops up. It is unfair tikkun. Yeah, whatever been done to me, it's unfair. I don't want to hurt anyone. I don't want to rock the boat. Yeah. So we're afraid sometimes to shake the boat and to see maybe, there's something going to, all those mosquitoes going to fly out and attack us. Procrastination, tikkun, I'm afraid to be weak, controlled, hurt, taken advantage of. Okay, it's part of those things that you shared already. Impatient with slow process, getting it over with, regardless of casualties, tikkun. So the impatient one want what we call the jackpot without processing, don't want too much of a long conversation, too many meetings over something. I want to get to the point. Pleasing tikkun, yes. Neediness tikkun. Fear of the unknown tikkun. So fear of the unknown can be a devastating pain, yeah? Imagine yourself not knowing what will be the consequences of a meeting, of a job interview, of standing in front of people that don't know you. Imagine yourself the pain that someone can feel around that. But this is a tikkun. Pain of being judged, rejected tikkun. Regret and guilt, beating myself up tikkun. Not getting credit tikkun. Commitment tikkun. Anger. Yeah, so if I have anger issues, every time something happens in a conversation that I don't like, boom, I'm exploding. Being hurt and control. So try to figure out quickly and pinpoint those that seems to be, the one that you carry right now in your relationship. That popping up as the most So see how it works. Us in our next level, the block that exists, it's not the actual relationship that disturbs us. Yeah, we think, oh, if this person wasn't in my life, things would be greater. Yeah, if this boss wouldn't block my creativity, I would be so creative and things can run much smoother at work. Doesn't work this way, because the block is one of those on the list, a few of those on the list. Those are the ones that I need to work before I'm attending a conversation, before I'm attending any confrontation in my life. Those are the blocks. Those are, standing between me and my other friend that the relationship doesn't work right now. So try to visualize right now when you look at this specific confrontation that if you had no fear, as we started the class with, if you had no fear, you would do. Now try to visualize now. What is it there? I see the pain. Okay, but what really causing the pain? I rather not having discomfort. I rather not deal in that way. Try to figure it out and write for yourself. What is it? Let's get back to the list. What is it that causing this uncomfort? Yes. She wants you to, the online to hear you.
Yes, sorry. Go. Is not knowing what you want a tikkun? Like if you're struggling with like, I don't even know what I want. I don't know what I want. I don't even know what I want with that person. I don't even know what I want the outcome to be. I don't even know. I don't know what I want. And that's the frustration. Like I wish I knew what I want. Should I even know what I want? Should I try to know what I want? Could that be on the list?
I'm not sure if not knowing what I want is a tikkun, but it's a result of a certain tikkun, of not really having the clarity yet. It's like you're not really aligned yet with your own desires.
Could being afraid of desires be it? Being afraid of your desire be a tikkun? Like I'm afraid to want.
That's interesting. I think we're getting into something. Like it's more the tikkun of I don't know if I deserve really what I want, so I'm afraid to put it out there. That's this is the fog. The fog happens because I don't know if I deserve really what I want. So I better, the opponent tried to make it so foggy for us. So we won't desire because we have to desire. Yeah, we have to desire. And so people that don't really desire is because the opponent convinced them that they don't deserve, they're not worthy, and things like that. I think, yes. But then it can relate to the fear of to be rejected, to be judged. It can lead to many different types of those tikkuns eventually. Being rejected. Imagine yourself that someone stopped putting his passion into things and his maximum effort because he knows that he's not going to get credit for it. Happened to you? So for that, we need to remember there is nothing in the cosmos. It means energy flows, so any energy that I'm invested. So now you will decide to take this class and use this to confront and to have a conversation, a proactive conversation with someone. Yeah. Even if you don't see the results immediately, and even if it's not going to work and this person wouldn't be open to you, it could be, yeah? But this energy never get lost. It's going to come up to me in a different way because the most important that I'm going to overcome those tikkuns. It's not about the outcome, yeah? It's not about the credit. It's not about the acknowledgement. The relationship, it's between me and the light constantly. So remember what we need to do? So now, I'm going to present you a new term. I don't know how many of you are familiar of that term from Kabbalah 1. If we maybe mention it, but today we're going to tap into the very understanding of how tikkun's been created and what is really the kind of the physical manifestations of our tikkun. And we call it klipot. Klipot, it's a Kabbalistic term that refers to shells of negativity that we carry. Okay? So those shells of negativity, they kind of hovering around the skin of the body. They're not physical, they are untangible, but they are layers. They are layers that sit upon the soul and blocking the soul to emphasize itself. Okay? Now, those shells are not created when we are babies. They actually been carried from past lifetimes. It means that the soul already coming with the baggage. Yeah? That's the reason when the soul coming with a certain baggage, we could have certain fears that are not explainable, that are not related to any current trauma in our life. They just came with us. There are certain behaviors, certain beliefs that we have, certain fears that we have that are not necessarily because something happened. But eventually they will lead to many events that are going to trigger those shells, that are going to trigger those events in our life, which will awaken a certain pain around them. So how we know that there is a shell? A shell is there, meaning that anytime light will want to come from the endless, because light always wants to come. It's always been vibrant. The Creator is constantly streaming his light towards us. Yeah? The moment someone been cut off, that's it. There is no light, there is no life. It means that the soul constantly needs to be fed. But the soul can be fed only according to the level of how much it's able to penetrate to the shells. You understand? So it's like we talked in the beginning about the vessel. But what will block the vessel, what will be the curtains for the vessel, will be those shells. So shells actually, in a way, they create the limitation of us receiving light, but also they are protecting us. What does it mean, they're protecting? They're protecting us to be burned by the light force. It means that there is a rule that an unearned light cannot come to the vessel. That's part of the rules, cosmic rules. We learned about it. Cause and effect, yeah? I have to earn the light. So the shells are there as long as I'm not able to earn the light. So in order to allow the light, which is endless, it means it's always there, what I need to work on? To break down the shells. So how do I identify that the shells are there? You remember what we said? How do I know there is a shell? Pain. Beautiful. Every time I feel pain within something, say, oh, wow, something, the light wants to come in, but it's bumping into the shell. It's blocked. It's being blocked by the shell. There is some kind of, how do you say? Friction between the light and the shell. And that's causing me pain. That's what's causing the pain. There is no other thing out there. Yeah, it could be presented through different events of life, but it doesn't matter what's the event. What it matters that whatever happens, it shows me that I have some kind of a block. I have an open wound. Yeah? The best way I love to explain it is like, you're going to, the Dead Sea in Israel. Yeah? So when you're going, how many people been there by chance? 1, 2, okay, 3, okay. But it's like Salt Lake. It's one of the most salt lake in the world, and it's the lowest place in the world. But when you go into that water, suddenly you're born. Where you born usually? Where you born in burn in the body when you get into the water because they're so salty? Where? Exactly. Wherever there is a cut, a wound, an open wound, that's where you feel the most pain. So what does it really mean? Like if I put some salt on you and the skin is great, we wouldn't feel anything, would you? But if there is an open wound, you're gonna feel tremendous pain. So what, you blame the salt and go away? No, take care of the wound. The salt is a gift. It's helping me just to deal with the wound. It also cleanses it, but the bottom line, it could be other things that are going to make it very painful. But the bottom line is that there is an open wound, and this is what I have to heal. It's not like try to move away what's causing the pain. Yeah? Is that making sense? So there is a constant surrounding light, endless light that wants to come into the vessel. And as much as I'm saying, yeah, I want to be more connected, I want to do more, I want to become more spiritual. It's a dangerous thing, because then what you're going to feel more? Pain. Why? Because the light says, yeah, if you want me to come in, you have to break the klipot, you have to heal your open wounds, and that's the only way I can come in. So be careful what you wish for.
With
Go.
that being said, the klipot's being open wounds, and we obviously have to heal them. Obviously, when you go in the water, you feel them. What if you're blind to your klipot or your wounds, so you don't really know where they are? What would you say? What's a good practice to help identify where you're wounded and what you have to help clear up?
Fair question, so yeah. Because, is it working? Stop working? Hello? Hello? Maybe the battery is there? Okay. So I will move to this. So the question is, what if you cannot really feel anymore? Yeah. So one of our mechanism really not to feel is because we don't want to feel the pain to begin with. So we created a mechanism in our body that we won't feel. We're going to be numb. Anesthesia, spiritual anesthesia. No, it's okay. I turn it off. So you understand? So we become kind of, in a way, when we don't want to feel, what is the exact English word? Numb, but there is another word. What would be another word to numb? Avoiding. Denial, disoriented. So we need to ask back this ability to see, okay? Because that's what's part of our defense mechanism from childhood. It could be many things that cause that. But we need to be okay with that, to see and ask and to say, I'm ready. Now I'm ready. I don't want to be, I don't want to hide it anymore. Okay, is that helping? So you have to ask to see. You constantly have to ask to see. It's not, sometimes it's not pleasant, because what you're going to see? You're going to see how many wounds you have suddenly that you didn't want to deal with. You wanted to deal with the beautiful things. Nobody wants to deal with the ugly things, do we? We like everything. Let's talk about achievements. Yeah, we constantly want to deal with achievements. Achievements is great. It's like, oh wow, I gained this, I gained that, another relationship, another better job, house, Tesla, this, that. Yeah, great. But nobody wants to deal with the garbage. Yeah. So the klipot is part of the system of the garbage that we accumulated, and it's blocking the vessel. And as long as we're not digging it out, breaking it down, the idea is that it's endless. As many levels that I want to grow more, I would have to peel more of those layers and more of those layers. because they get back to the beginning of creation, meaning to the original soul. Since the original soul of creation, imagine yourself how many layers of blockages, of shells, of klipot humanity have been created. Because every time you taking an action, a selfish action, you empowering your klipot. Every time you're doing a misdeed, what we call a short circuit. You remember we talked about Kabbalah 1 short circuit? What is a short circuit? It means that you downloading light without earning it. Yeah? We call it direct light. Direct light is the light that we try to draw, but without intense investment. Yeah. So the way it is here, negative layers that are created by individual negative action, and that limit his or her spiritual growth. They just sit there and they start what we call diffusing, distorting the reality. So if I have many of those over me and they are in different shades, suddenly the reality that I see compared to someone that doesn't have those layers, completely different. That's what's causing us to see a reality in a certain way. You understand? We see it through those glasses of our shells. So as many as you remove over and break down, suddenly you say, oh yeah, oh, life is not such a bad thing. Oh, the argument is not so difficult. Challenges are not, yeah. But what I am invested in my klipot, empowering them, that not allowing me to communicate the way I want to communicate. You understand? Because if I'm giving power to those klipot, there is no way for me to have the capacity to communicate in the way I want. Questions about that, klipot? Very important terms. You're going to hear it from now till the end of your Kabbalah process, hopefully. Because this is very strong, very important term. We are dealing with it all the time. Some layers are easy. They are tiny. You break them, you break some kind of an habit, some kind of a belief, you break it down, it doesn't come back. Some of them are layers that are significant tikkun in our life. It means that you try to break it down, it's bumped back to you. It's a very strong shell, fiberglass. So you fight with it, say, okay, so you have to start chipping on it slowly. 1 year, 2 years, till it's break. But some of them require more effort. It's not just like, oh, I recognize it and why it doesn't disappear. Depends for how many generation, how many reincarnation I'm carrying this layer. Okay? Okay. So let's do a short meditation just for us to be able to identify, especially because, we all building up on this confrontation that we want to do, this conversation that we want to have, that we imagined in the beginning that we could do unless we had fears. So let's go into a meditation mode. Just relax yourself, open your eyes, open your arms, allow them to face upward. Don't cross your legs or hands. Let the body have its own circuitry, the way it's meant to be. Let's take a deep breath in Seeing the number three times. And exhaling, taking all the stress out. And taking another breath in. Now seeing and imagining the letter. Number 2. 3 times. And exhaling. Releasing another level of stress. And third breath in, inhaling light, pure oxygen directly to our soul. Breath connects us to our soul. Seeing the number 1 3 times. And exhaling. Seeing yourself in a very comfortable place. Space that we feel safe. Serene, quiet. Nature. Just think about this partner that you're having this dispute, disagreement, long-term space between you. Ask yourself, well, what would you like to achieve there? Why is this relationship is so painful? What is my tikkun there? What is the comfort that I'm seeking? What is it that I'm trying to avoid? And the pain, what does it show me about me? What the light tried to communicate to me. To be more open, more vulnerable, less controlling, trust, enjoy the process, care less about the outcome. Want to connect to my truth. What is it that blocking me to say what is on my mind without exploding? I'm ready to take it as an experiment that allows me to break a few klipot, a few shells of negativities, and to release the clogged energy. When I release it, I will feel freedom. What is it that I need to do that is completely out of my nature? See yourself doing it, saying it, expressing it before it's happened. And we are creating the reality.
conversation start in our mind first. We see that it's going right. We see that it's been received. We see that we remove the space. Just need to dare to move the fear aside. By creating this healing right now. But it cannot stop right now. It's have to continue. It needs to be manifested. It needs to be communicated. This week. Will proactively approach this relationship from a different angle. I'm ready, I'm strong about it. It's healing my spiritual process. It's needed. And I feel good about it. Excited and curious about the outcome, regardless of what it's going to be. Feel safe, protected. The light is with me to do that. It's necessary because I want more light. I want my vessel to grow. Visualize it happening. See your plan of confrontation. What will undo this tikkun? It's causing me so much pain. Wherever the pain here, I feel it, I acknowledge it. But I'm asking the light to come and heal it. Okay, so slowly but surely we're coming to here now. Taking a deep breath in and exhaling. Taking another deep breath in. Exhaling, feeling safe, feeling strong. Another. Inhaling. And slowly but surely opening our eyes, feeling stronger and energized by this process. Okay, beautiful. Any questions? Online? Yes. Jake.
Did you really mean we have to do it this week?
Yes. Yeah, you want to do
I mean,
Kabbalah
like-
too? That's what Kabbalah too.
Until, like, you
Agree.
mean from today to next Tuesday or Sunday
Yeah.
or Friday?
Let's keep a week. I think
You have
Yeah,
them 1 week.
1 week. It's okay.
7 days.
7 days.
But,
And then we can meet ourselves.
sooner than after, because if you wait too long, I promise you, it's going to be harder and harder.
But how about the magic moment? Maybe there's a right moment sometime you could say.
As long as you're not making decision coming out of your fear, hug it in your own process. But remember, if it's coming from fear, and I don't want to kind of
Because the 3-wave process that
Wait,
sorry.
sorry.
To prepare the ambiance of the environment, there was 3 points: close the space within you, close the
Yes.
space between you and the other, and then the other person to have the desire. So I personally struggled with the first one, close the space, because I feel like
Yes.
personally this is the harder, because we want always to look the best in front of the other people, or like whatever it is. So how do you what do you recommend on closing the space within, like to do exercises to
it's the
try?
realization that is your tikkun. It's not the other. It's not the other pair is just a player in that movie. It's a realization that the process is between you and your tikkun. That's the biggest.
The salt.
Yeah, exactly. He's just the salt.
There is an online question.
Yes.
Mauricio is asking, what is then the difference between tikkun and klipot?
So klipot is the manifestation of us not correcting the klipot. Okay. Tikkun, slicha. Sorry. So klipot is the kind of you can say physical manifestation, but we know that they are not super physical. But it's the manifestation of me not dealing with the things I need to deal in life. And they get thicker and thicker. As much as I not dealing with it, they overpower me, because they get stronger and stronger and stronger. Fear turns to be anxiety. Anxiety turns to be panic attack, and so on and so on. It's because it's getting stronger. I give too much power to this shell instead of dealing. Yes.
I'm very aware that so much is the space that's within me, and it's not about the other person. So I don't take a lot of action, because I feel like that's where it ends up stopping for me. It's like, well, it's me and it's my stuff. So what is ever really worth saying to another person? So I don't rock the boat, right? I don't rock the boat, because I see, for me, it's like, well, it's irrelevant, the conversation and the confrontation, because I can come to terms with it within myself, and isn't that enough? So I don't take a lot of action.
But you see, the tikkun, the salt have to meet the wound, meaning, but the other person is not a salt. Is another person that have to do the tikkun. It means that there is a past relationship between you. So the healing here is within the relationship itself too. So you have to have this dance. It's not a lonely dance in this world. That's the reason we don't believe in people that go on a mountain, stay there all their life, and just connect with nature. Could be that they're very in tune with nature, but they didn't make too much of a movement within their own tikkuns. That's what's spread out in their different relationships. So you need to, even though you made your own processing, you need to present it to the other person somehow. Sorry.
Action. Like, I'm going to say these things to you because I'm trying to sort something out in me, and you're going to say some stuff, and I'll say some stuff, but I could have just not said much stuff, and maybe the healing would be in just me, leaving it alone. That's what I just keep tending towards, because I think, well, what am I
Does it work
really
for you?
trying to achieve? That's where I get lost. I get
Exactly, because
confused.
it's not
Because I
the
don't-
final.
I don't know what I'm trying to achieve by
Objective.
having the conversation. What am I aiming for really by the end of it? That I feel better, that I've made them feel better, that now we feel better, that now we're going to walk away. What?
So if you serve in that relationship as the trigger for you to express something that is completely different from your nature, and you do that, It means that you transform. Now you transform, the relationship transform immediately. He can choose also to be touched by your transformation and transform himself too, but not necessarily. But as long as you transform, it's great. It could be that you're finished the tikkun with this guy or this person, and that's it.
I'm not trying to be, but manipulative, like without meaning to, but being strategic. Like if I say this and I really do feel like I'm being really vulnerable and I'm showing that this is what I really think and feel, that I am still hoping for, it's hard to let go of wanting to do it a certain way, script it a certain way so that you kind of get what you want out of that confrontation. I feel like don't mean to be, but I'm strategic. I do feel like I don't want to be manipulative, but it's like, if I say this, I really do come from a well-meaning place, maybe they'll say this. And that's what I'd really like to have happen.
The only thing I related to is like talking to an ex of yours that, okay, so maybe if I try to confront in my new way, maybe we can get together. That could be like an hidden agenda that I still have, but it's not about that. So it's not necessarily need to be that, because, not necessarily those type of relationship that we think that we're going to resolve. Or if I change a little bit, we maybe going to be together. That's not the hope. The idea is in those things is it's just my personal process. So if you're coming with zero agenda and if you think it's necessary to say that, because as you said, it might be not necessary in that types of relationship, you can say that.
And I kind of think, well,
So parents is very important because our parents there for life, so it's very important to get closer, very important. So I would invest in friends and relationship. Access and things like that, I don't know about that too much, because it means that I'm open for something maybe. Yeah.
You mentioned before about in the beginning of the class communication and how we're texting using more texts other than in person. Should this communication be voice? With like the two relationships I'm thinking of, one is in a different city, another one is in a different country. So usually we exchange voice WhatsApp, but they're both writers. So I feel like if I write something to them, it might reach them better than if I speak it to them because that's their preferred thing. Or do you think no, it needs to be voice?
It's safer for all of us. That's the reason we invented the texting.
No, but I mean, they're like writers. They write books. It's their art form.
Yeah, whatever works for you, as long as you're dealing with this relationship in a different way, understanding that you want to change, you want to overcome.
What if I have tried everything already?
So it could be that this is not the ones that necessarily need to be confronted,
Right.
And it could be a one-time conversation. It doesn't have to lead to many more after. Just for you to do something that's going to heal you.
Thank
Yes.
Wait, Demi.
I think for me, there are certain relationships I have where I've suppressed certain things and I've held on to things, but the relationships have carried on like well and good. And I don't think they would have any inkling of bad blood. So it would be sort of random if I were to just go and confront them and say, this is something that I've been harboring and I let it go. And I feel like the person would be like, what?
But if it's ongoing relationship, you just can change your method now. So you more direct, it's not necessarily like, oh, I did that in the past and I'm not going to do it anymore. And you're going to, you just change yourself.
Change yourself within the relationship.
You understand?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yes.
You said about, for example, parents,
Parents.
but there is one, what if they are very different and there is this other part that you talk that we also maybe not even trying to convince them, but just sharing can generate more judgment versus bringing it closer. Is that Is that
Guys,
possible?
sometimes vulnerability is not the only way to correct relationship, but it's not to be afraid and not to feel that you're guilty that you are because you are a different person. And because people sense energy. And if they sense that you are fearful and you feel yourself that you are bad, and they sense that. But if you feel more comfortable and you take things more easy, suddenly you're shifting all the energy within the relationship.
Okay.
So you just need to see what is that your tikkun there, why it's so painful there, from your perspective. It doesn't matter about that.
Okay.
Any more questions? Okay, beautiful. So I'm saying we're here to experiment. So give it a try. Whatever different approach that you have from the point of view that I no longer want to operate from fear. Yeah. I'm not afraid of what's going to be the outcome. I know I'm protected. You will see different synergy within those relationships. Okay. So now I want you to continue in the groups online. You're going to be divided to the breakout rooms and here with your mentors and start to unpack everything that we learned today. Beautiful. Thank you very much, everyone. Okay.
Hello. I think everybody can unmute themselves and open up their camera if they'd like, if they want to talk about some of the things that we've discussed today in class. Hi, Serge. Nice to see you again. Recognize some people from last class. There's Dina too. Hi, Dina.
Hi.